Reading Church is today is January 14th, 2017, and this is Kevin Duclairon. And right now, the my situation with at Gretchen for Commons with John MacArthur and Gabriel Franklin, Guy Franklin, and the Franklin representatives are on this level. Okay, this is the level, and it's them that has the guns, not me. And it's also on the, I don't think you can see the piercing. You can see it right there. All right, it's like a flint knife cut, and on a bloody level. My nose was bleeding this morning, just a few minutes ago. When I went, just blood gushed out and fell all over the bathroom wall. It's been hell in here. Since last night. Yesterday I went to return a movie that I had not rented, but taken out of the Portland Public Library, and I returned the movie. It was Macbeth, and I'm not exactly sure how you people use your movies. From what I was told, or what was explained to me, is that when a person is watching a movie, it's not entertainment, it's a form of conversation. So I'm watching a movie and they're giving me a portion of the story, and then the next person that comes in and takes out that same movie, the story continues with them. What the first person had seen, I don't know what that is. But when I get it, it's a it's a new movie. The Klan just came out, okay. Their assurance of okay, we got it, we understand. The issue here, and I'm telling you because some of you out there are going to get killed, some of you out there are going to get hit alongside me. Those of you who fought with MacArthur, those of you who have fought on Gabriel's side, those of you that are Gabriel Franklin representatives, Guy Franklin representative, Bush and Obama and Clinton and all you people, there's going to be that's what's coming. I can feel it and I can see it coming because what's flaring, this is what's waiting to come out. Enough of the police reports, enough of the of all of this stuff. This is the issue. Okay, the issue still is this, and here's the other issue that still is flaring, is this. Right? You got two issues that are pending. The gun, the real actions, and that means that's Barack and his wife, and this position here, these people. All right. So Barack and his staff, and I think Barack and his staff, this is what's pending. Okay, the land issue, the submission to these people issue, the submission. The Europeans and the African Americans didn't submit to these people; they slaughtered them. And of course, now this is what's pending. This is what's waiting to come forth. And of course, with it, the American Klan. Okay, and so it's here at the Portland, in this apartment complex, and they can't hold it in anymore. Anyway, let me get on with what I'm saying to you and bring you up to date with what's going on. I went to return the movie. I watched the movie Macbeth. Okay, I returned it and went to the library and used the computer and emailed a letter to the mayor of Seattle, Mayor Murray, whatever his name is, and in the email, I didn't keep a copy of it, but I sent it to them asking them for two things: the deposit for $389 out of the Bush Hotel, and also the trailer, which I had spent at least $3,000 on, just getting it repaired. $600 to purchase it, $1,800 to repair it, and then another $600 to $800 to buy stuff to put in it. and that's not even, and that's just to get it operating, and that does not include everything that I left in the trailer, like my clothing, my food, my computer, electronics, radios, or whatnot. So I wrote them because since I've been down here for the last 5 years, I haven't really been getting any kind of response or rapport with them. So that's why it's taken so long. When I send an email, they don't respond to the email. Or when I try to explain to them that there needs to be some sort of reimbursement for what they took. Okay, this Haitian woman and Guy Franklin and the sheriff department and John MacArthur confiscated, okay, the trailer off of Rainier Avenue. They took the trailer off of Rainier Avenue and all of its content. They made me lose the car that I had, the Ford Escort, and they made me lose the Bronco that I had that was supposed to drive the trailer. I had taken the Ford Bronco to Ford and Renton, had them look at it, and when they were looking at it, doing diagnostic tests, they told me it was going to cost $250, right, for the diagnostic test. That's what Ford told me. Sheriff Department in Renton was working together with the Seattle Police Department. Seattle Police was working together with John MacArthur, and John MacArthur was working together with Barack Obama, who is president now, but who was president then. So it's this anyway. So I elaborated just a little bit about that on the email, and I sent it to them. Okay, I don't know if they received it or not. Sometimes they just blow off my emails and they don't respond, and they act like I'm not worthy of a response because I'm not a European, because I'm not African American, because I'm not a man of authority. So because I don't have a father in the army, or a father in the ministry, or I don't have any English blood in me, the blood, the gun, the people in charge of this country. I'm not on either one of these levels, right? I don't have the gun on my side. I'm not a native, and my peoples are not from this land. So automatically I just get shut down and there's nothing to be said to me, right? And they passed me off to the Franklin family, and the Franklin family is acting like, well, we brought you here, so we get to have authority over you. And which is what's going on between the Europeans and the African Americans. Right, that's the war that's going on between Europeans and African Americans. Europeans are acting hard and tough and going, we brought you here, so you can't. You better be careful at how you act around us, and we're still the lead, and that's the mentality of the European people toward the African Americans. In other words, we brought you here. You didn't bring us here, so you can't be our equal because we brought you. Well, just because you brought me doesn't mean that you made the right decision. Just because you brought me doesn't mean that I was in agreement with your bringing me here. Okay, just because you brought me doesn't mean that we belong together. Just because you brought me doesn't mean we belong together, or I'm in agreement with you assuming a position with the gun in my head. Your gun in my head, if you had removed the gun the first time, I would have killed you, right? So now the gun has become what? Even a greater threat to the African people, and that's what is happening here with me. So anyway, I sent the email, and apparently MacArthur and Franklin were pissed. They were outraged at the fact that I brought up the issue, and I also made a mention of James Tagmeyer. James Tagmeyer is the officer that I spoke to on Thursday, who I made an appointment with to see him on Tuesday, I believe, to deal with this very issue of Gabriel Franklin trespassing and this situation here. He's the head of, in the Portland Police Department, he's the head of the, this is what he wrote. Okay, this is the officer. I wrote his number, his name, right? I wrote his name. Right, I wrote his name on the here's the other officer that I'm dealing with in the same unit. All right, Shea Samora. So these are the two officers from the same behavioral health unit. Okay, these are the two officers that I'm dealing with. Right here, church. You see? Hold on, let me remove this. I just got here. And their job, okay, one is according to James, he basically oversees the department in the east, and she oversees the department in the downtown area. Okay, and so these are the two officers that I'm dealing with concerning this situation with Guy Franklin and his mother and their constant trespassing in and out of this apartment complex and in and out of this apartment. And anyway, they gave me a hint that I needed to take out some movies. So I was like, okay, I'll play along. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. So I went and I took out some movies, right? I took out 5 movies, and I watched one of them last night. And here's, this one here, the Wolverine, Bourne, Legacy, Mr. Holmes, and Games of Thrones, and Iron Lady. So these are the movies that I took out last night from the from the library, and then I left the library and went to pay my bill for $39.42 for the PGE bill, and went to the bank, took out some money, paid the bill, got on the bus number 15, and on bus number 15 I noticed a European woman who resembled Gabriel Franklin getting on the bus, and there was some sort of tension between me and her as to who's going to go first, and they had cigarette butts in the bus area. There were orange cigarette butts in the snow, set up so that when I got on the bus, basically I'd be surrounded with Gabriel Franklins. I don't know, that's how they talk to each other. I don't know if it's the Klan, the homosexual community, the US government. I don't know who it is that's doing all of this, but they're in the back, and this is their espionage. So when I get on the bus, automatically right then and there I knew that something was going to happen today. I don't know what it was. So I get on, and then she gets on, and then I sit down, and he drives me over. And it was him talking, and there was a large white male in the front of the bus talking to the driver. I don't know who the white male was. I guess I was supposed to read into it, and all big white males are supposed to be Rick McKinley's from the Imago Dei Community Church. Problem is, I no longer go to that congregation, because for the 5 years that I've been there, I was either ignored, I was hissed at, or I was vexed by the Klan or the gay community there for me to leave. So I left, and the last conversation that I had with them was more like a confrontation, me confronting them and saying, hey, I can't be a part of this congregation if you're gonna, I've been here for 5 years and this isn't a church. I mean, I don't know anybody here after 5 years. I'm still being dealt with by the Klan, or I feel like I'm dealing with a bunch of Klansmen and a bunch of haters rather than men of the Christian faith. Okay? I'm not dealing with Christians. I'm dealing with a bunch of hateful people in this place. And the man that I had spoken to was a European that was the exact replica of Guy Franklin. Okay? And who was Guy Franklin? Guy Franklin was the Haitian man who received me here in the United States when my mother had sent me to come and live here with Jean Marie. Now, did I know him before that? No. What was his relation with my mother before that? I don't know. I'm telling you all of this to prepare you for what they're about to do. Okay? Because they can't hold it in anymore. And what I'm guessing is that Guy Franklin is Charles, whatever, Spencer, Windsor, whatever his name is, and Gabriel Franklin is Elizabeth, the Queen of England. So it's those two who, it's these two, right? The Elizabeth and Charles, who comes down in the form of Gabriel and Guy Franklin, and then now I'm dealing with the gay clan that represents both sides. But on my neck of the woods, when they're dealing with me, it's Gabriel and Guy Franklin, the black woman and the African man that are getting their orders from this European woman from the island. And that's what I believe. You know, whether or not anybody else believes it, that's what I believe that I'm dealing with. You know, that's part of the root of the issue with this Haitian woman who is demanding subordination and sex. She comes in here every night. She came in here last night, right? Still the hit on the head, and that's why the blood was coming out of my nose this morning. So let me get to my story because time is passing here. So anyway, when I get on the bus, the two Europeans are talking to each other, but they're also talking to me, and they come out, okay? And they're cutting me down, and I'm giving it back and forth between myself and them. The driver and also the large man. So it's like talking to church and state. I mean, I didn't understand who they were representing, but I was kind of like getting. We didn't have enough time on the bus to actually get there, you know, to actually deal with whatever their issue was. I get off the bus, and I went to look for a new apartment complex because of all the stuff that's been happening here. I get off the bus, the 15. Reach Apartments has this apartment complex near the bowling alley over there, and across the street from the I think it's like Play Pantry or 7-Eleven, one of those places. I get off the bus, cross the street, and outside of the building is an abominable snowman. And automatically I'm thinking, okay, Mark Rodriguez. Okay, everything just shift. This is how they're talking, right? The abominable snowman is a Mark Rodriguez. And again, Rodriguez representing who? Gabriel Franklin. Rodriguez out of MacArthur's church, Gabriel Franklin out of Haiti, but all going back to who? The Queen. Okay. So anyway, long story short, I get there, and of course it's about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and the doors are closed, and it doesn't look like anybody's in the office. Two things: the abominable snowman has been set up for conversation. In other words, it was a warning sign. In other words, you come into this building, or you put an application on the property. 2 years ago, I had put in an application on the property, and they told me that it's an eight months wait. Okay, and when I had checked back, they're like, "No, sorry, we don't have anything right now. So check back later." So now I've checked back. I haven't checked back. Yesterday was it. The abominable snowman had a carrot nose. Okay, that's automatically telling me that she's hard. Had two. What do you call it? Bark of wood on the eyes, for eyes, which was basically telling me, again, warning of death. So the first warning was sex with the carrot. The second warning was death, with the eyes covered, with the bark of wood, from the movie Macbeth, where the opening scene, the little girl had two. They had put coins right in front of right on the little girl's eyes, and then they set her on fire. And then there were some other warnings on the abominable snowman. The Christian church came out, and you know how Jesus does this ordeal, right, with his arm. So I read the whole thing, and I understood what they were saying. And then they sent an American in, and as the American is getting in, I didn't go in after him, but I think the whole thing was for him to get in and pull the door behind him so that I wouldn't get so that I wouldn't get into the building. There was a European here last year who had moved out, an old man, and he kept on coming into the building, giving trouble to the staff. I didn't want to be the one to let him into the building and to be blamed for whatever he did in the building. So as I walked in, I explained to him, "You can't come in here because you don't live here anymore." And I pulled the door. And I says, "No, don't go into the building. I don't want to be responsible for whatever you do in there." So I didn't let him into the building, right? So in other words, this stuff is whatever I did or said in defense was catching up to me, Okay, a European just told me that's it. He's on the intercom. I suspect it's the American clan. And I could see them on the inside of the building walking back and forth, huffing and puffing. They had an attitude with me looking through the window to see whether or not management was on the property. So I figured I better leave because there's going to be trouble here. So I left and went to the other building. When I got to the other building, they had a European woman outside smoking. She was wearing a purple outfit and lime green sweat shorts. Okay. Again, if I read the lime green sweat shorts, it would have been a Sandra Duclairon. Sandra meaning it's either Michael Bunn or some of these other people that have been representing this Haitian woman from Haiti. Anyway, she was wearing a purple, so I have to read into the whole thing, and she was smoking. And okay, when I went in there and I rang the bell, the office didn't respond, so I said, okay, well, I spoke to her, and she says, no, she's not here today. She probably won't be back until Monday. So I said, okay. So I go to the bus stop, and when I get to the bus stop, two new people come, both representing Gabriel Franklin, a Mexican man and a European woman again. They look exactly alike. I didn't notice it until I got on the bus, and two Hispanic women needed to sit down, and he got up and went and sat next to the European woman that was at the bus stop with us. And when I looked, their faces were like the exact same face. And, her face was exactly as his face, right? And I would say that he was older than she was, but they were both representing who? Gabriel Franklin. It was her face. And I'm thinking, what is this? Why am I being stalked by this woman? This woman is not a relative. She's not my wife. She's not my mother. This is what I was talking to James. This is why I went and spoke to those two officers. And those two officers dropped the ball on purpose so that I would not be, I would not resolve this whole thing. They knew something was going to happen. That was the whole purpose of me talking to them was to prevent blood, but they're determined for blood to be spilled. Mine. Okay. So I said, all right. They never said anything to me, those two. I get on the bus, cross over. Then I hear that I needed to buy some food to redeem the fact that I didn't take out the movie. I don't know what movie it was, but Russell Crowe and Mark Wahlberg had a movie, and I didn't take that movie out because I didn't want to talk to Gabriel Franklin. And those men apparently through the community, any conversation that I have with white American male actors always goes back to Gabriel Franklin. Gabriel Franklin going back to Elizabeth. Right now, I never saw it like that until last night. And I'm thinking there's got to be a reason for this because it doesn't make sense. So instead of going directly to the 24 hours like I had planned, I went to a store and bought some pork cracklings. Bought the pork cracklings, ate them on the way to 24 hours. When I get to 24 hours, worked out, but the first lady came out. She came out. I don't know what she was communicating. I didn't understand the whole Michelle Obama legacy thing. It just threw me off. I thought he was the president and that was his, but then the whole legacy thing just didn't make any sense. I don't understand these people on their level because they don't talk straight. And what they're communicating up there, I don't know. It's none of my business, and I'm not interested in what they have to say unless it's open conversation and a straight conversation, and they're not dealing with me on a straight level. Everything is reading into it. Okay. So long story short, they set it up at 24 hours, but because I'm not a reader, I don't read into what they're communicating. I don't know what they're saying. I don't speak gay, and I don't speak clan, and I don't speak slave. Those are all languages that these people have developed communicating with each other, which determines the powers that be, which determines the level of the gun, the level of their relationship in this nation with the Native American Indians, the African, myself, and so on and so forth. People don't talk about this stuff. You don't ever hear people talking about the Native American Indian. You don't ever hear people talking about African subordination and submission. You'll never hear people talking about open homosexuality between males. All of this is sort of like pushed under the carpet as a result of the respect, whatever the respect is. I don't want any part of it. I don't want any part of the conversation. I don't care for any of it. The only thing I ever talk to people about is Jesus. Okay? My issue with America is Jesus Christ. My issue with America is not their dick, their ass, their land, their position of authority. My concern is God's plan. Okay? Every life is a plan of God. My concern is God's plan. My concern is the salvation of the nations from practicing these different types of religions. I'm not interested in no queen. I'm not interested in no king. I'm not interested in no homosexual. I'm not interested in Haitian women getting sex. I'm not interested in who owns the land. Psalms 50 says the whole world is mine. I'm not interested in if they're in charge or the English gun is in charge. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't care about these incident reports. Look at this. This is, here's incident report after incident report. You got 2 officers that I tell this stuff to, and what's the resolution? There is none. Right? So I don't care about any of that stuff. That's the American people's problem. I'm not an American. I wasn't born here. I don't care. But listen to what I'm saying to you. So I leave there and I go to the post office and get my mail, grab my mail and make my way to the train stop. When I get to the train stop, they start coming out again. Okay, this time these Europeans don't look anything like Guy Franklin or Gabriel Franklin. Apparently, they're representing people from the movie that I had watched last night, Macbeth. I'm not exactly sure the scenes that are in these movies, how it works. Okay, if it's real blood or if it's real killing. I don't command these people. Hey, European, I'm not talking to you. Don't tell me that's it. So I don't know who is I don't know who these people are or who's sending them. If it's coming from the police department, or if it's coming from the U.S. government, or where it's coming from, the opposition. So I'm at the train stop, and this is the train stop right in front of Blick. And the gay community starts coming out. And this American woman is there, and what she did with the boots that she was wearing. These are the boots that I've been wearing since last night. Okay, you've got two sets. How do I explain this? I've got these long hunter boots on. Okay, and when I walked into 24 hours, the hunter boots I had the sleeves tucked inside of the boot. When I came out, because I was in a hurry to get here on time for the Bible study, I let them loose on top of the boots, right? And so it, and as I walking from the post office to the train station, they had an African American wearing his boots. I don't know, the black boots with the bottom of the pants tucked in, and he was going in the opposite direction. So they made an issue out of it. And there are some other stuff that happened there too, but I'm not going to make mention of it. It's just too much information. I mean, it is just a whole community dealing with this, thing here, and I don't know where it's going, except for, like I said, it's going here, right here in death. So anyway, at the train station, this woman comes, this European woman, this blonde woman, with this young man, and she had one pant leg inside tucked in, and another pant leg loose on top. So I'm thinking, okay, and she was pissed, and I'm thinking, is this my mom, or is this somebody from the church? I couldn't figure out who she was or who she was representing, because I couldn't figure out her face. But the woman it looked like she was outraged. She was pissed off. I don't know what she was pissed off at. I don't know who she was. So I never said anything to her. I went into Blick, walked around, asked about a frame, because I have this poster here with presidents on it and the Constitution on it. And I wanted to put both the Constitution and the presidency into this frame, with a picture of the map and the American flag, right? So it would have been a very big frame. I walked around the store looking for other frames, and she's like, well, it could be custom made. So since I didn't see what I was looking for, I walked out and went to the train station. The gay community started coming out, or at least my perception was that that's who they were, because I felt like they wanted me to look at them that way. So, I played my role, and I was like, man, yeah, I was talking to Melinda, because I can hear her, and I said to her, look, I could, every morsel, they look that good. Now, remember, I'm an American I'm a preacher, and I'm not even supposed to be looking at that sort of thing. So I knew something was going on with her attitude, him, and then there was another woman there who was mixed between white and Chinese or something. So there were activities all around there. And I also noticed Gladiator was playing. Gladiator was on the pizza store, and I had gone to that pizza store before, and they came out, right? And I couldn't buy pizza out of that store because the Klan and them came out. So when I saw where Gladiator was playing, he came to the scene where he had to make the decision to kill somebody. Russell Crowe playing Gladiator. I turned because I figured whoever the audience is that's watching the movie, whether he decides to kill the guy or not, that's I don't want any part of it, because I don't want any of it catching up to me. And the men that were at the train station, some of them I believe were representing members of the cast from Macbeth that I had been watching the night before. So here I am dealing with two movies, right? One where the representatives are right in front of me, and another one that's on the screen in that store. So I turned, only to deal with these representatives. And from what I can remember, I said, I wouldn't have killed you. That was my response, because the two men that were at the train station were the ones who got killed in the movie. So I'm thinking, where could this possibly be going? I got a pissed off woman. I've got some representatives that are here, and I could see, and they were communicating that they were both cut down. I could see both sides, the movie and the homosexuality. And of course, behind them both would be Gabriel Franklin, right? And the movie actor representing either TJ Ford from Nanuet High School, who would be representing Gabriel Franklin. Again, it's like the representation of the representation leading back to the Queen, right? Now, I don't have any proof, but this is what's been revealed, okay? And these people are outraged because I have not accepted their system. This is what I accepted, right? The Word of God, right? This is what I accepted. I accepted the Word of God, okay? What I accepted was God's Word, and what I accepted was the Constitution. I didn't accept the system. I took the Constitution and I took the Scriptures, right? I didn't take anything else. This is my weapon right here, right? This is my weapon right here. My weapon is the law of the land and the law of God. This is my weapon. All right, and so I go to Melinda says, you know what, you need to leave the area. And I'm thinking, I need to leave the area because the train wasn't coming. And she's like, it's about 6:35, and I needed to be here by 7 o'clock to sit in the lobby for Bible study, right? Because I have a Bible study every Friday night, trying to reach out to Christians to come and to talk to me and to share with me, just like I used to when I was in college. I have not, once I left college life, I have never been able to go to Bible study and have some real fellowship with people of like-minded faith. I've been out of the church since 99, and I haven't been able to find fellowship. And everywhere I go, it's this representation that I'm dealing with, people pushing me away, people shunning me away. That's the reason why I was out there last year trying to raise money to build or to buy a new household of faith so that Christians can continue to do the work of the ministry that God has outlined in the Scriptures. Okay, this is me right here. This is what I've become. The people that I'm dealing with are on this level. The people that I'm dealing with are on this level, and the people that I'm dealing with are on this level. And they're pissed. They're outraged. They want this Haitian man shut down. They want this Haitian man shut up. You shut your mouth. They want this Haitian man beaten, cut, pierced, whatever, killed, removed. these people are outraged. They hate my guts. So anyway, I told her, well, the train is probably coming. So the people started leaving the train station and started walking. And when I realized that it was getting late, I started walking too. And I walked from Bleak all the way to on 10th Avenue, all the way up to First Baptist Church. Right, all the way up to First Baptist Church. When I got to the First Baptist Church stop, of course, passing a lot of the people, on the way to the train, on the way to the First Baptist Church train station, because the people started leaving, and I was walking alongside with them. So when I get there, I get on the train, and get on the train, and when I get on the train, there's another setup. They have this beautiful yellow girl there, my complexion, and I knew right then and there, behind her is probably the American clan. So I stopped right there in the first stepped up, and I said, okay, well, I'm not going any further than her. I get off the next stop, which is where they have this new construction site, and then I walk to the apartment complex, go in, drop off all my stuff up here, make myself some tea, and go downstairs to see whether or not it was about 7 o'clock, to see whether or not anybody's going to come, right, to Bible study. And of course, there's a sign up with the Bible study sign, and I know nobody's coming, right? I mean, it's just a given. Nobody is coming to fellowship with me. John MacArthur's in the building hiding. Gabriel Franklin and Guy Franklin are in the building hiding, or his representative hiding. I noticed that Corolla, which is one of the workers, is talking to Debbie. And if I were to read into it, Corolla is a Gabriel Franklin, Debbie is a Mary Ann, my mother. So the two women are talking. One is staff and the other one's a tenant. If I read it, that's what it would have been. And when I walked to the television room, there were 3 African Americans there. I don't know who those men are. One of them I would have recognized in the community would have been a Ford. The second one, I would guess that he was a Jean Marie. And also, I had known him, I had met him or been acquainted with him at Labor Ready last year. I don't know these men. I don't know their name. I don't know who they are. They live in the building here. And there was a third one whom I don't know who he was. I've never seen him before in my life. I don't know if he was a tenant or not. Melinda says no, he wasn't a tenant. So anyway, I didn't go in. They were watching something, and I went back and I grabbed the one of those. I grabbed this. Where is it here? Here it is. I grabbed this. This is a maintenance request form, resident maintenance request form. And in the maintenance request form, as you can see at the top here, it says resident, right? And then phone, and then name of the nature of the problem, unit number and project. But the issue was this: resident. When you look at the new forms for these incident reports, what is it that you don't see, right? There's nowhere on there where it says property name, time and date of incident, location of incident, including unit, right? And what else does it say? Description of incident, complaint. And then way at the bottom there, it says law enforcement, medical transport. And then beneath that, what does it say? Witness, right there. Witnesses, right? Witnesses. So there's no, and all the way to the bottom. So I walked in and I said to her, this is Corolla, the Spanish woman, and I said to, and who is also AKA Gabriel Franklin, when you read it in the community, I said to her, these incident reports, the new ones, don't have a space where it says resident. So we don't know who, whose report is this. So Michael needs to put in, or Gretchen Kafur Common needs to put in the word resident so that the people could write their name here. I've been writing my name here where it says witness. The witness is a person who sees, the action happening, whatever the action was. So I gave her the example. And I said to her, if somebody walks in here and hits the desk, the recipient is you. You're the resident who basically had somebody hit the desk to say, and this is your report. And the witness is Debbie, who saw me hit the desk. And so I explained it to her. And she says, fine. I walked out and went to sit down as somebody else was coming in. This couple was coming in. I suspected right then and there, and I felt like there was tension there. Okay, I don't know why, but I felt it in the air. And so I knew the guy to be a professing Christian, but I didn't talk to him because he had a guest. And so I sat down and I opened up the scriptures, and this is what I did in the back of the maintenance request form. Here's the maintenance request form, right? And then in the back of it, this is what I did. Okay, here is 2 Peter. And I outlined it, 2 Peter, right? Just this is what I was going to do. Chapter 2, chapter 3. And I had just opened up the Word and started reading it. And I was about to do the outlines. And then comes in an American. And this guy is, I don't know who he was, but apparently he had been a leader in the church at one point. He knows the scriptures and he knows the authors of books, and he came and he spoke to me, and he reminded me of Darren Hulbert. I don't know where Darren Hulbert is these days, but that's who he reminded me of. He spoke. I never said a word, and he went upstairs. But I could feel tension in the air building up. When he went upstairs, one of the African Americans came out and started talking loud. I was alarmed. And I'm like, okay, why is he talking so loud? Because I'm the one that talks loud in the building in the mornings, dealing with Gabriel and the trespassing and them constantly inflicting my flesh. So if it's not Gabriel, then it's either Guy Franklin himself, or it's these Europeans who look like Guy Franklin. If they're tall, they're skinny, and they've got, sinking faces like this, then they assume the position of Guy Franklin. And it's not just the one that lives here in the building that I had an issue with last night, but it's the police department where they come out. It's the presidency. I mean, they're on every level. Remember what I told you. This is who I'm dealing with. Right? This is who I believe I'm dealing with. That's way in the background somewhere. So, So I pushed it, the American goes up, and I put this away. The African American comes out of the television room, and he starts talking loud. And I was alarmed, and I'm like, something's not right. Why is he talking so loud? That's not him. He's not the loud one. I am. I didn't see that I was going to get dealt with. This European man started banging on the door. So I didn't pay any attention to him. He was a homeless. And he's banging on the door, banging on the door, banging on the door. I ignore him because he was acting crazy. Then he comes over to the window side and started banging on the window and trying to get my attention. And when I looked, he had a plate of food, and I didn't understand what he wanted. I'm just like, what? You need to use the intercom to call Corolla so she could let you into the building. And I kept on motioning to him. He needs to go and call her on the intercom to talk to her, because I don't know who he is. I'm not letting him into the building. That's part of the lease. You don't let strangers into the building. That's part of our addendum. They have to sign to get into the building. In order, they have to sign first. They have to be a guest. They can't just walk into the building. And since he wasn't my guest, I don't know whose guest he was. I wasn't going to open the door for him. And he starts talking crazy and violent, and I just ignore him because I didn't know who he was. I wasn't there for that. I was waiting for the Christians to respond to the poster that I had put up for Friday night Bible study. And so I'm sitting there. I didn't say anything, and I was alarmed at the fact that the African American came out, and then I guess as the African American was walking out, the white man, the older white man, walked in. He was about 6'2" or 6'3", and he was pissed off, and he walks into the lobby and he starts talking to me, and I'm like, the building office is, the office, Corolla's in there, You know, I mean, it's like whoever you're needing to contact, or you have to sign in, you got to go into the office. You know, that she's in there. Those are the people that you have to deal with. You know, he's got to give them his identity, and he's also got to sign in before he comes into the building. So I sent him to her, and she comes out of, because he was being loud, she comes out of the office and she starts talking to him. The other two African Americans come out, and one of them, I think the one that's supposed to remind me of Ford, starts talking to this man and saying and asking him to leave because I guess he was getting loud, or he was talking crazy to Corolla, and he started emphasizing that he needed, you know, you don't talk to her that way, and the way he said it, and it's almost like I felt like he was talking to me about how I deal with Gabriel Franklin here in the mornings. And I listened to what he said. I didn't respond. I was watching them through the window, and I didn't say anything because I was trying to figure out, okay, what is the issue here? Because I was feeling it. The white man wasn't the one that was being chastised. I felt like it was, they used him, but it was me that was being chastised. And through the community, Gabriel Franklin came back, and this was a whole setup to deal with me on the issue of me yelling at her. And addressing the issue that I'm yelling at Corolla, and I don't have the right to do that. This is the second time that they've addressed the issue of me yelling at her, or me talking crazy to her. You know, I don't have the right to talk like that to her. But they didn't do it directly. They did it indirectly for a second time. I'm thinking, okay, these people, I understand what they're saying. They don't want me to talk yelling at Gabriel. They want me to stay, you know, talk to her calmly. I understand. So I at 7, when the whole thing came to an end, the man walked out of the building. The other tenants went back upstairs to their apartments. I said, all right, so I don't think there's going to be Bible study here. It was near 7:30. So I went upstairs, and and I figured, well, I had to use the bathroom anyway. You know, there's not going to be any Bible study tonight. When I looked at the clock, it was about 7:28, 7:26 or 7:28, and closed the door and wasn't here. And I'm thinking, this is not going to keep going on. I mean, these people don't understand that when I'm in here and my flesh is inflamed with pain, you know, when I wake up in the mornings, you know, whether the needle is the needle's been stuck under my foot, or the needle's been stuck here in my elbow, or the needle's been stuck here, and it's swollen, or here where it was swollen this past week. It's painful to the flesh. It's painful to the muscle. It's painful to the vein if they're sticking an IV tube in the vein. And whether they're putting something in or taking blood out, you know, it has a repercussion in it, and it's painful. You know, or they're banging a hammer on my head. And when they bang a hammer on my head, they don't realize that blood's going to come out of my nose, you know, depending on how hard they hit me on the head. So I'm thinking, okay, this isn't right. So I'm talking to them because they're in the back. They're on the intercom. If the police department is in the back, Portland police in the back, I believe DC police is in the back, New York police is in the back, Seattle police is in the back, Los Angeles is in the back, and they're all listening to me. MacArthur's in the back, Gabriel Franklin's in the back, Guy Franklin's probably in the back, Jonathan Szabo's in the back, some Americans whom I do not know is all back there. So there's a whole group of people in the back that are listening to me on a consistent basis. So I'm thinking, this has got to stop. I mean, these people don't seem to understand when you're inflicted with pain in your flesh, you know, there's got to be a painful response. That's my painful response when I'm up. You know, when you wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm talking to you, I'm not going to be like, Gabriel, you know, you need to stop hitting me in the head, Gabby. I mean, it hurts. Nobody is going to respond like that. You know, when people are shouting, it is usually because they're inflamed with pain and anger and frustration at the fact that this is an ongoing thing for the last, you know, 2-3 decades. since I left Master Seminary. And even all the time I was at Master Seminary and all the time I was on Grace Community Church property, this is all the crap that they were doing to me. So, there was no way there's no way I'm going to be responding, all nice and calmly when my body is inflamed with pain, right? And you wake up and there's blood coming out of your nose, right? There's blood spilling out of your nose, and you go, and then there's blood splattering all over the wall, all over the sink, and all over the counter, and you're going, where the hell is all this blood coming from? I haven't been picking my nose, right? It's a trauma. It's a hit to the head, and the blood dries up inside of your nostrils. I still have pain here because somebody stuck a needle right in here. And so there's no way that I'm going to sit there and not respond like a grown man in pain, right? Even in my incident reports, you can see that, what do I have here, right? It's all written out. Okay, this is how I give the reports. Sometimes I write it out and sometimes I don't, right? I write it out this way, and I don't draw nothing, right? So anyway, I come back up here and I start talking to them, and I say, you people are crazy to think that, you people are crazy to think that I'm not going to respond in pain. If I've been beaten on my back, I've been beaten in the leg, I've been, you're sticking needles in my knees, or you're giving me pain shots in the knees, whatever it is that you're inflicting pain and you're judging my body, I have to respond. You people can't, you can't seriously think that I'm not going to respond to that, or there's pain in between my knuckles here. Anyway, I'm talking, and as I'm talking, I'm getting inflamed and in anger at these people in the back. And one of the American representatives of Guy Franklin comes to the door and he tells me, to shut the fuck up. And I give it back to him. I don't remember what I said to him. I give it back to him. And he kept on saying, Melinda was cutting me off from responding and saying, don't go out there. And I was telling him, I was trying to figure out what his intention was. Or is your intention in trying to remove me off of the property, trying to get me to lose the apartment? It's like, who the hell are you and what is it that you want, right? I'm not talking to you. But he butted into my conversation with the people in the back, telling me to shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear your shit. So I give it back to him, right? I grabbed the knife, and I was waiting for him to come to either open the door or do something. They have the keys to the apartment. Okay, they have the keys to the apartment. They have the keys to go in and out of the apartment. And what I explained to James Dagmeyer and Samora, these two officers right here, is that these people when they come through the window, they're either being helped by the fire department, or they're being helped by the construction site, where they have a ladder that reaches to the window. They can pop open the window from the outside, come in, hit, open the door from the inside. And I think men that are trained to do that are usually Army men, right? Army men, police officers. You go through all of this training so that when you need to come in, hit, and then walk out, and close the door, close the window, and them lowering the ladder and then driving away. And now you've been hit, and how were you hit? What are you talking about? You have no proof that somebody was in the apartment. There's no proof. I mean, that's why you have these machines putting up 7-story buildings, 10-story buildings, 20-story buildings, where you can lift up wood and put it through the window, right? How are you going to get the wood through the window if you don't have these lifts, right? And you don't have these ladders, right? How does the how does the fire department rescue those people if they don't have firemen being lifted up there to go into the burning building, get the people to come out. So, the Americans are acting like they don't know they don't know what they're doing, or I don't know what I'm doing, and saying, oh yeah, well, you don't have no proof that somebody's going in there. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, long story short, he tells me, why don't you come out here? Why don't you come out here? Melinda says, don't go out there. Don't go out there. You're going to get hit. You're going to get killed. Don't go out there. You're going to get killed. The police department and MacArthur, the Klan and whoever, it's an ambush. If you go out there, it's an ambush. She kept on talking to me. It's an ambush. You're going to get hit. You're going to get killed. Don't go out there. Don't go out there. And I'm seething with anger, spewing out theology to this guy, and he's giving it back. And nobody steps in. This is the second time that it's happened. As I was talking earlier, he came out again. He's on the floor. He lives on the east side of the floor. And there's two of them. There's one on the west. There's one on the east. And they're both with the face of Guy Franklin. Remember what I told you? They represent, it's the representation. And I guess I'm supposed to read into it. Okay, I don't read into nothing. I don't know who they are. But I gave him a warning. You touch my flesh and I'm going to kill you. Okay, Guy Franklin has the tendency from the very beginning, he wouldn't stop touching my flesh. He's a homosexual. I guess he's bisexual, homosexual. I'm not exactly sure what his sexual orientation is, but it's along that line. And he likes to touch, he likes to hit, he likes to hurt, he likes to bleed. And I suspect that it's the Americans and the American representatives and Gabriel who comes in here to hit me on the head, which leads to my head having pain and my nose bleeding. Right now, as I'm talking to you, my head is in pain. So, so anyway, that happens, and then I turn on the television, and what is it called? Wheel of Fortune with Pat Sajak. And he makes a statement that I've heard before on Grace Community Church property. I don't remember what the statement was, but redundancy. MacArthur was accused of redundancy, teaching the same thing repeatedly. He just keeps on repeating. And I don't know if he was talking to me in that I was being redundant, or if he was talking to John in the back, and that John was, this whole situation here is redundant because he's done this before, right? With 1974. And you're being redundant again, John. We've dealt with this before in your life. We've dealt with this situation. I'm not exactly sure what he was talking about. But anyway, I turned off the television and I said to John directly, you better watch your back because of what's happening here, right? And it was right after I made that statement, Melinda was telling me that she couldn't figure out, he couldn't figure out why I said that, if it was because I was concerned about him or if it was a threat that I was making toward him. And I didn't respond to her. And then he comes out, the European American. He's about 5 foot tall and 5'2", 5'3", I don't know, skinny. But there's hate and violence in the man. I would consider him an American Klansman. We're enemies. We hate each other the same way me and Guy Franklin hate each other. And he goes back into his apartment complex, and hold on here. I'm being hit on the computer. They had control over the computer, so I had to remove it. So anyway, I stay up all night and watching Wolverine, and then I lay down here for a little bit, and then I wake up. The trauma in my head returns. My nose is bleeding, and it looks like they either stuck something in my mouth here, to stick a needle in my mouth, and so now I have this bump here. I'm not exactly sure what. I've taken an hour of your time to explain all of this. My conclusion is that my meeting with this officer is not supposed to happen. What happened last night, I think it was supposed to end in my bloodshed or me being killed. I don't believe that I'm supposed to meet with Stagmeyer or Samora on Tuesday. All right. The email that I sent, I have put his name on it. So I don't think that, I think that what they're trying to do here is close out my application and my lease. So all of these hits is to get me to move out of this community. And every community that I go into, that's why I think those people had set the abominable snowman over there. So wherever I go in the United States, in this country here, in the United States or outside of the United States, this follows this situation here. My response was, this is the issue, right? Right. Well, I'll read it for you. The question that I ask is, when are you going to submit to their skin, hair, and eyes Europeans? Right. This is part of the issue. The issue is non-submission to these people. Right. The issue is the fact that they were first and they have been, pushed out of the way, and these people taking their position. The fact that Europeans have come here and did not submit to their leadership. So this is the root of what's going on here. And now today, this is basically what I'm dealing with, is the gun, right? The police department, the 2 officers, and the people who own guns in this building. I was told that if I would have walked out of the apartment, I would have been shot in the back of the head by MacArthur or the Portland police. If I lunged at him with a knife. And I wake up in the morning with a bloody nose and a head suffering a trauma, and right here in the middle of the head, I could still feel it. I'm being hit with either a hammer or something else. I have a hammer in here. I don't understand how the American people could give this to us internationals, right? To each other. To me, this is a bunch of lies, which Europeans are known to do, is lie. This is a lie. They didn't submit to these people, and that certificate of citizenship, which I've shown you before, is also a lie to me. So, I'm sort of like, okay, I don't get this, right? And they're this close to having me shot. This close, right? It's in the building, and before the weekend is over, something is bound to happen where my blood is going to be spilled, or I'm going to end up getting killed, because these people, Guy Franklin and his mother, or these representatives and Gabriel, will not stop pursuing me, right? You all know this, all of you Americans. You all have dealt with this, but you did not resolve it. Okay? This is what I told the people in the back. This right here does not resolve your issue here. The issue of the land and the issue with submitting and respecting these people. Okay? You English people. You still have not given these people their respect. So I think wherever I go in this American continent or outside of the United States, this is going to always be an issue with me. And the fact that you want me to not recognize the fact that you didn't submit to them. You want me to not recognize that I'm not an equal in the country, right? Martin Luther King Jr.'s, whatever it is, day is coming on Monday. And look at what I'm dealing with. It's Saturday morning, right? I mean, the man who died and whose blood was spilled for the civil rights of Africans is on Monday. And then look at what I'm dealing with on Saturday, right? Is this thing over? This thing is not over yet. This thing is nowhere near over. I mean, I'm a tenant and I'm still writing incident reports on on what they're doing. You who are calling yourselves the church, I'm talking to you, and I'm thinking some of you are calling yourselves the church and you believe this. How come I can't come to your church and you encourage me with the scriptures or back me up with what's going on here? I don't understand. So it's almost like this here, some of you are hiding behind this. And this is your issue, right? This is the issue. This is the issue. I couldn't even bring up this issue on Grace Community Church property, right? The headdress that they would wear, MacArthur had it in his bathroom. All right? So, I mean, the tension that exists between you, the European American, Klan, claiming to be Christians, and the fact that you can't come to a Bible study and pray with me, you can't come and sit under my teaching, I'm not buying it. And you know that this is going on, this whole thing. I mean, I just spent an hour talking to all this, which is, how many times have I done that? Right? How many times have I done that? Have I brought it up? Right? Some of you are going to get killed. Not by me, but by MacArthur, by the presidency, by the White House, by the Klan, by the gay community. You who have my face, you who are not in agreement with what has happened to these people, and you who have your own guns, you who don't want to deal with no Gabriel Franklin and no Guy Franklin. Those are the two violent ones I've been given, representing the Queen and Charles. Some of you are going to get hit when I'm hit. When I'm hit, whoever stood with me, the videos for those of you who stand with the scriptures, right? The Jews, right? Here's another group of people that Europeans have been dealing with. Some of you are going to get hit. And the police department is not on my side. They're against. And so some of you are going to get hit by the police department, whether it be Portland Police Department, New York Police Department, Seattle Police Department, DC Police Department. You're going to get hit and you're going to get killed. And I'm talking to my father's house, my mother's house. I'm talking to Grace Community Church. I'm talking to you guys from Nanuet High School. You know who you are. Bobby, who's being represented by Mark Rodriguez, or Gabriel Franklin. Ford, who's being represented by the actors, and this African that's here, and God knows how many other people. I'm talking to every single one of you. You're going to get hit. When they give it to me, like a domino effect, and who is it that's going to give it to me? Guy Franklin and his mother, the Queen and the Prince of Wales, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. But when I get hit and I get killed, you're to follow. And it's going to be across the board. And the people that are responsible, I believe, is the first generation. You know, MacArthur and MacArthur, who's in his 80s now, and this Haitian woman who's in her 90s, right? And being represented by who? The European Queen, I think. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure how all of this is going to play out, but I'm giving you warning so that when you're hit, you know, so that you watch your back out there, because it can happen anywhere at any time. Okay. It's 9:07 in the morning. I don't know if I'm even going to get to go to the library to upload this. They might corner me in the hallway down on the 7th floor here, or they might corner me downstairs in the lobby, or, as I've been told, in outside. They've got guns, they've got knives, and God knows what else they have. And it's not just one. It's the whole group of people. And who are those people? They've been hiding all the time that I've been here. So some of you are going to get killed. Some of you are going to get hit. Some of you are going to get hurt. And all I can tell you is watch your back, you know, watch your back there, because they're coming. Okay. And they're pissed because I didn't give it to them. I didn't subordinate myself to them. I don't know who these people are, you know. I don't know who these Europeans are. I don't play favorites, and I don't submit. Right. I mean, you give me a constitution telling me that 13th Amendment, African Americans are free. But then here's the position that you take. You come into my home and you trespass. Right? You give me a certificate of citizen telling me that I'm a naturalized equal citizen, and then you're fucking me through these people who are hurting me. Right? And you men, when you do this, that's Guy Franklin. That's his threat. That means he's holding it in. And Guy Franklin's about 5'7", 5'6", or 5'7", and he's the kung fu guy. You know. That's not my family. That's not my dad. You know, my dad is not into all of that. That's not my father. I don't know who he is. Okay. That's why I've been reporting him all this time. But I'm giving it to you because I'm concerned that a lot of people are going to get hit. All right. People are going to get killed. People are going to get hurt. And if it doesn't catch it, and what I told these Americans in the back, if it doesn't happen on the day that I'm hit, it's going to happen somewhere down the line, because it's a domino effect. One gets hit and then it trickles. And if that doesn't happen, God is the one that's going to end up dealing with the killings. Right? Or that's going to end up getting, that's going to deal with the hits. Right? So, I'm still going in this direction. All right? I'm still going in this direction. The Word of God. I'm still going in the direction of God's Word. but they just did something next door with the paper. You know, I think rubbing it against the wall or something. Both of these neighbors, they don't support me. They support this entire thing that's going on here. You know, and they come out. You know, they're against. Any European that's out there is probably against. And they're representing Gabriel Franklin and Celine, whatever, Marie Annette's daughter. One's on one side and the other one's a Gabriel. The Indian is a Gabriel. And it's all, you got to read into the whole thing. So, you know, I don't know where my mother's at with this whole thing, and I don't know where her house is at. But I gave you my spiel, my side of the story. Things come up on Escape all the time. People getting assassinated, people getting killed, people getting hurt. So I put it up online so that you people know what's going on. All right?